Alright, welcome guys to changing out your gaskets on your power steering. So basically I've started working on this and wanted to kind of teach myself because I've never done it before, and then do the how-to video to show you guys how to actually do this. Coming from this is a job that I don't really recommend you doing if you don't have very much patience, because this is absolutely a pain in the you-know-what. What we're working on here is, this is basically your return. So this is where you just take out these two with the 10mm, and when you pull that out, you'll see the black gasket. This is my old one. You can see it was actually broken, worn. This has never been changed. And you just take that off, put the new one on. I got these from Honda, the part number listed here. I'll give you a second to write that down. The problem is with this is the parts to do this were they were less than $5, but the actual quote that they gave me was $220 because they said it was leaking. So I have basically taken off your cosmetic part right here. I have removed, this is your power steering reservoir. Then it takes out to here. This is actually going to send it into your high pressure valve. This is your return valve. Okay. The high pressure valve is going to be a red gasket, hence high pressure. This right here is the part that you would need. All you got to do is just ask them for this. They'll tell you and get it all for you. But I'll let you have a second to write that down. And I'm going to kind of show you what all the problems are that I've worked through with this. And it's really only the high pressure gasket that's a pain. But of course, this is the section where you seem to do most of the work, and it's where there's not much of a cavity to work in. So I told you this is your return. Pop that out and grab a rag. I actually have a rag like this. Because whenever you pull it out, it's going to start putting the power steering back into the reservoir. Now, hence, whenever you do that, you're going to be adding air into the system. When you add air, it's going to sound really bad when you first start it up. You just need to turn your steering wheel, kind of work that air out as you go. So, as you can see in your timing belt here, I tried removing this, and even with removing all the bolts for the top part, I even got caught up in the inside to even get that off, which is still a pain. But I got the power steering hose going into the high pressure, got that off, and I unclipped your power cord here. So I'm going to finish working this piece out, and then I'll show you why this is such a pain, and kind of go from there, show you at least how to change the gasket. And then I'm not going to show you me putting my car back together, but this is more for knowledge of, do you really want to go through this, or do you just want to pay someone to actually do this for you? So I'm going to hand this over to my daughter and let her work this through. Alright, so one of the caveats to this is here underneath is where your actual nut is to remove that. I actually had to, you can't get a socket wrench in there. You can't get your nice little spinning tool, your Craftsman. I had to go to my cheapest tool I actually had, and it's because it's the thinnest tool that I actually had. And you got to basically come up underneath, take your finger, make sure it gets onto that nut. And I've been backing this out for probably a couple of minutes. It's a very long bolt. So, as you know, it's going to be very hard to see this just because it's such a small cavity, and I think that's why I couldn't find any videos how-to on YouTube showing how to do this, because it's virtually impossible to videotape it and do it, and actually get you to see it. But then also, I don't know too many people that really want to do this on their own. But I had some extra time on a Saturday. Why not, right? But This is going to save me $205 or $215 because I'm not paying someone else to do it for me. So sometimes the frustration's there. Alright, so this bolt right here is the one that you had to back out. It sits like this. Right there is where your actual nut is. And again, that's a 10 millimeter. Let's set that down. The problem is my actual ring stayed inside the reservoir. And how you can tell this has never been changed is if it's the color black. See how that's the color black? That means it's never been changed, and you can feel it. It's very hard, it's very tethered and worn. This probably wasn't the source of my leaking. I think it was more my return valve. But the way I look at it is might as well change it all at the same time so you know and you can document it was all done at the same time. So basically one of the things you want to do is just get some extra power steering on there, and that should sit just like this. You got a good picture of that? It should sit just right on there. You don't want to cup it over because this actually sits inside the cylinder. So when we go to get this back in, well, I guess we can clean it up a little bit. Might as well. I'm not going to go on a showroom, but the one thing with this, guys, is power steering fluid is very abrasive to all the other things you have going on with your belts being there. It's just, you kind of, it's a pain, but you have to do it. So putting this in there, you want to make sure it slides in there nice and easy. Don't try and force it, because if you try and force it, you could cause more problems than not. So I'm just trying to find that bolt. Well, that's convenient. So basically the way I was going in is just right up underneath this cavity. And just trying to ease it in there. Hoping at least just get this started in here. If I can just start finger threading it. I think this is something that they changed in the 2004 and beyond, because they realized how much of a engineering error it was. So I'm going to continue to work this in. I know this isn't the typical how-to videos I do. I try to usually show you from start to finish the process, but like I said, it's really more for you to get the gist of the idea of it, and if you want to actually take the time to go through it. And you know, with this cavity being so small, you know, my hands are rather large compared to the average person, but you know, one of the things that doing these things yourself just saves you a lot of money. You know it's done, and it's done right, and that's just kind of the gist of why I do all the things. And yeah, that's all I can recommend. But I'm gonna finish doing this up. Basically, my next step from here is to take the return valve, this right here, and then suck it back onto here, and then move your clamp back to where it originally resided. And then remember to start your car up. It's gonna sound weird. It's gonna sound like you might have done something wrong. Just work the wheels back and forth, and that sound should go away. Just trying to work the air out. You know, some of the things I like to do afterwards is just take it out for a test drive and, you know, kind of make sure that everything's running smooth. Come back, let it run, and then just do a once over on the engine. Make sure there's nothing else I need to work on. So if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. I'm gonna just kind of work this through, and you know, other than that, it's not really gonna help you. But let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to help, and have a great day.